Okay. Oh, there's a bit of lag on that, I think. What was that? Oh, it was a good 10 seconds on that. Hey, Micro. Hey, Micro. Welcome. I got some, it's kind of an impromptu stream, this. But, tuning the old BGA station on this one. So, yeah, hopefully I'm going to be able to dial in this bottom PID controller. So that should be interesting. I've never done this before, so getting the values right could be interesting. Now, doubly interesting is this bottom heater. I don't have a way to chart it on the PC, so I won't be able to see the oscillations occurring beyond just eyeballing this controller. So that should make for an interesting little tune-up for this thing. So yeah, I'm not sure where I need to set these values either. I am getting a lot of overshoot on this thing though, with the way I've got it set up. So that's what we're going to be trying to reduce. So yeah, could be interesting. I don't know how many people are watching, if anyone's watching, but I'm probably just going to get started. So yeah, let's just get cracking. So I've written myself a little reference here. I've got this PID tuning cheat sheet I've written. And we're going to start out with the proportional value. And what we're going to try and do is get this temperature to start oscillating up and down. And once we get it to do that, we're going to half that number. And then we're going to start tweaking the integral and derivative values. And hopefully we can get this thing performing reasonably well. So yeah, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set the temperature sort of lowish, maybe 80C or something like that. I don't want to absolutely cook the board that's on there. It's a scrap board, so it doesn't matter, but, you know, we'll see how this goes. So, let's get started. So if we hold down the set button, we'll get the menu come up for this thing. And can cycle through the options with this set button. So what we're going to do is we've got the proportional value there. It's set pretty low at the minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tweak that up to maybe 50 for now, and I'm going to tweak it up in increments of 50 until we start seeing the temperature oscillate. I'm going to set the integral down to 0, and I'm going to set the derivative down to 0 as well. So we're only modifying this proportional value right now. Now, it's probably not too obvious from the footage, but on the underside of this board, we've taped a thermocouple that's responsible for this PID controller's measurements. And we've also got a thermocouple on top as well. Yeah. I don't strictly need the one on top right now, but it will tell us what the topside board temperature is. And I've covered the board in foil, as you can see, and that's just to help reflect the heat from the board back at the board. It was Rip Felix who suggested that to me, actually. So, but that's for pre-baking boards. This is going to be getting some heat, so hey, you know, it's kind of two birds in one stone. So, you know. So yeah, what I've done as well to help calibrate this is I don't want this top heater to actually do anything when we hit start. So what I've done is I have a profile set up on here. It's got its ramp set to 1, and then it's just the target temperature, the set value is just 0, and then I've set it for a dwell time of 1200 seconds, and I've just got a bunch of stages like that just so that the top heater doesn't activate. And that way we know we're only dealing with this bottom heater, which is what we want. So, yeah. So I'm just going to... It's kind of awkward where I'm at. I can't see the live chat so easily. I have to sort of glance over my shoulder to see it, because the computer's behind me, not next to me like it normally would be. Because this is the other side of the room I'm normally streaming in, so... Yeah. I've also done a few other modifications to this. I've got this... This is actually something I bought years ago. This is actually just the metal off of a shower. And what I've done is mounted it using a wire coat hanger to one of the screws in the corner. And that wire coat hanger runs through the center of this old shower tube. And then I run the thermocouple through that so that I can bend it into position. It helps hold it a little bit better, but it's not a brilliant solution. I need to modify that. I've done quite a few things to this station, actually, including rewiring it because it was actually genuinely unsafe out of the factory. Long story short is they were running 1500 watts, so what, maybe about 10 amps off of a 16 gauge wire, one 16 gauge wire, and that, you know, it actually did cause this thing to set on fire at a terminal block. So I ripped all that out and rewired it myself with 16 gauge running to each heater. So, you know, that 16 gauge is probably delivering about 1.7 amps per heater now, rather than, you know, crazy amperage. So, yeah. Anyway, I've also raised the heaters up too and switched out the top heater. But yeah, anyway, so what did we set our derivative to? Let's just double check that. So we have set our derivative to 50 and everything else is 0. 50 might be a bit on the low side for this, actually. So, yeah, I've just got to let that time out now. 'Cause, you know, that's how you do these menus. You just leave it alone and then it will, yeah. So we'll just give it a second. I did try an auto-tuning cycle on this, but the overshoot was massive. So we're just going to try doing this manually. Hopefully we get some reasonable values out of it. So yeah, there we go. Let's hit start. And we'll see this temperature start rising soon, no doubt. Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. It's starting to tick up. So while that ticks up, I'm just going to come have a look at the chat real quick. Hey Jaden, hey Bean. I'm hoping we don't have to see any fire on this one, because that would be really bad. That would be really bad. I don't like fire. Fire's scary. Nobody wants fire. So, you know, this isn't going to be the most exciting stream because it really is just calibrating a BGA station. There's not much more to it than that, really. It's not something I've done before, though, so hey. So, you know, it's rising pretty quickly now. We're getting about, what, 1 degree a second on the underside of the board. So it's at almost 50 degrees now. 31 degrees on top of the board, but there's going to be a lag on that because there's a massive ground plane on the underside of this board. So let's see how this goes. So I'm expecting to see quite a large overshoot. And what we should see is the temperature overshoot, drop down, drop below the set value, and we should see it rise up, drop down, rise up, drop down. I'm hoping that we can sort of see those oscillations happen. I might have to tweak that process value up higher. I'm not sure yet, so... Let me double check the chat as well. Oh, we're almost there. We're almost there. Ah, let's have a look. Oh, nice. Yeah, nice one. Nice one, Bean. Glad you got your PS3 going. Okay, so we're overshooting now. That's by 1 degree so far. 2 degrees. 3. 4. So that's quite a bit of overshoot already. 5. Yeah, look at that overshoot. The other thing I need to check as well is that the sensor doesn't fall off the board. I've taped it on with a load of Kapton tape on the underside, but obviously the heat from underneath, it can, you know, it can loosen up that glue. So we're already overshot by almost 10 degrees. So that's not good. I'm going to see if I can get the get this live chat up on my phone as well. Because if I can see what you guys are saying without having to, you know, go crazy on things. Let's mute my phone. Yeah, okay. Aren't there 3 auto-tune profiles? Not that I could see. Not that I could see, Rib. Mr. Felix. No, I don't think so. It was just, you can set it to auto-tune and that's it. You then fire it off and it does its auto-tuning, but it seems a bit crap, so we're just going to try this by hand. So we've got huge overshoot, 92, set value of 80. This is with the process value set to 50 and integral and derivative set to 0. Rex C100, Felix, this one. C100, it's a pretty common one. It's just the one that came on this unit. So we can see it's still buzzing the output every now and then, and it's not really coming down at the minute. Certainly taking its time. Come on. Start dropping, will you? That is a huge overshoot, though. All right, let's try tweaking the process value now. So let's try taking this up to 100. So it's relatively stable. It's just over its temperature. We want it to oscillate. So let's set that to 100. We'll leave the integral as 0. We'll leave the derivative as 0. Yeah. And then we'll let this menu time out and we'll reduce the temperature and see what that does. What's up, Travis? Good to see you. Good to see you. Will you guys let me know if there's any audio problems as well? I've got a bit of a jank setup right now. I've not got my usual microphone. I'm actually using the phone that's showing you this BGA station. So, okay, there we go. The temperature is actually coming down a bit, but let's reduce it. Let's set the temperature down now to 70 and let's see what happens. We should see it drop quite a bit lower than 70 if I'm right. Depends how stable it is right now, though, because we're trying to make this unstable. We want it to oscillate like crazy. Mr. RB King! Afternoon, old chap. Good to have you along. Yeah, maybe I haven't explained this too well to people, but so what we can see here, this is a PID controller or PID controller, and PID is short for proportional, integral, and derivative. And yeah, those are the values we've got to tweak. Now, I'm not massively up on how PID controllers work in general, but I can tell you there's sort of layman's terms of how they work. And essentially, what this machine's got within it is a solid-state relay, which is wired to this controller, and a temperature sensor. The temperature sensor at the minute is attached to the underside of this board. This is actually a PS3 Slim board, You know, if I were to lift that, you could see that we've got a PS3 hiding under there. Let's just put that foil back there, because like any good baked potato, you want it covered in foil. Yeah, and anyway, what happens is it monitors the temperature using this controller, and it uses this PID algorithm to tell the solid state relay whether it should be on or off. And that solid state relay will turn the heaters underneath this on or off to adjust the temperature. And what we're trying to do is tune it so that when I set a value on this, it hits that value fairly quickly, but also is fairly accurate in hitting that value. Now, at the minute, this is taking for absolute ever to cool down. It's not that surprising, though. These are ceramic heaters, so they kind of hold the heat, and we've got a board over it, so, you know. Yeah. Hey, Gazadazzler. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, yeah, this is going to be a reasonably slow process. And considering I originally set this set value to 80, oh, that's even rising. What is going on there? Insanity. And we also have a difference in temperatures of what? We've got 82 Celsius on the bottom of the board and 65 on top. That's quite a large difference. Must be that this board's got some moisture in it, maybe. Or maybe the foil's sapping the heat away. Ah, right, Felix. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this is a cheapo controller, so I'm just going to set this piece of paper out of the way, because all you can see is me picking it up and putting it down. Where can I put it? Let's put it on top of a backward compatible PlayStation 3 I've got next to me. Oh, when Gaza says football, he almost certainly means what you guys know as soccer. Almost certainly. But obviously, you know, the only game really that should be called football is the game that involves hitting the ball with your feet. You know, that's my opinion on it. Oh, come on, come on. We don't have forever, Mr. BGA Station. It's quite a large temperature differential. I wonder if this thermocouple's connected to the board right. Let's... Apparently my cold finger is sapping the temperature away from that top one. You know, I think I'm just going to leave this foil off. I don't think it's necessary. It'll help cool it down a bit quicker anyway, which is probably what we want. Alright, so we're almost at 70. We're still pretty stable by the look of it. So, I don't think this is quite what we want. But let's see if it drops any lower than 70. And apparently I locked my phone, so I can't see the chat. Let's get that back. Oh, that's a lot of chat. I forget I'm the only one across the pond sometimes. No, you're not, Travis. There's quite a few Americans on here. Gonna have a beer and watch a film on Netflix in a bit. That's always a good plan, Gaza. So I think this is still a bit too stable. Again, these values aren't oscillating wildly. I'd actually expect this to rise back up to 70 in a minute, but let's see if it does. No, it's still falling, so it's still technically overshooting. In this case, it's undershooting, but that's fine. There we go. There we go. It's going back up now. So let's adjust this p-value again. So we'll go over to the process value. Let's knock this up to 150 now. We'll leave integral and derivative. We'll let that time out again. The auto-tune, it was massively overshooting, Felix. To give you an example, I'd set the machine to hit like 100C and it would hit 120C before dropping down. You know, it was definitely just badly tuned. But that's because before it was configured for the thermocouple to be connected directly to the heating elements. So, yeah. Hey, Glenn, welcome. Welcome to the stream. I mean, we've not got too much interesting going on in this one, but there we go. Right, let's knock this up to 80C now. Just 10 degrees, let's see what happens. In fact, no, let's knock it up to 90 degrees. Let's see what happens. So it's not rising very quickly. And I don't like that. I want this to rise much more quickly than this. Well, look at that. That's about 1 degree every 2 seconds. Try auto-tuning again, but with TC on motherboard. The TC is on the motherboard. TC's on the underside. I tried it on the underside last time. It was really bad. I don't know if the auto-tune on this thing sucks or what, but, you know. Yeah, oh, right, okay, yeah, maybe I'm confusing in how I'm explaining that, Rip. So the PI and D values were set out of the factory, and the thermocouple was just, you know, pressed up against the heating elements initially, and when I set it to auto-tune, the thermocouple was on the underside of the board, so I'd raised it up. It's raised up right now as well. I'm not sure how well it shows, but right there you can see it. It's taped on by Kapton tape. But that auto-tune was rubbish. You know, it was overshooting by like 20 degrees C. Absolutely crazy. So yeah, well, we're almost there at 90. I think I need to bump this process value up quite a bit. Yeah, I did let it finish, Felix, yeah. It took a while. I'm going to bump this up to, I don't know, where do I want this? Let's bump it up to about 500. Gaza, this isn't broken. I'm trying to calibrate the PID controller for this BGA Rework machine. The board on top of it's, at this point, it's a scrap board. It's a board I've taken a GPU off of. Let's go up. I'm using it to calibrate, essentially. But that's a PS3 Slim, in case you were wondering. No, Felix, I don't think 20 degrees C is anywhere near close. I mean, I definitely need to slow the ramp rate. Let's see what this does. Hands are a bit cold. I'll just hold my hands over this red hot heating element. Ah, lovely. Lovely. I kind of like that I can view the chat from my phone. Let's go for 100. Let's see what happens now. Yeah, if the gloves burst into flames, you guys, yeah, call me an ambulance. RB King, you've got my address. You call me an ambulance if my hands burst into flames. Also the fire brigade. Yeah, you totally postal dude. Knowing you guys, I'll be on fire and you'll just be swatting me, you know. Get a fucking drugs bust or something. Oh, pardon my French, I swore. Whoops. Don't have been trying 911. Yeah, I could imagine that in the US. It's like, yeah, there's an English guy, he's on fire, but I don't know where he lives. I think this is still relatively stable. We want to see oscillations in this process value here. I do move in England, and I live in England. I do both of these things. Oh, come on, station. Come on. Where are we at? 97. It's so slow. So slow. 98, 99, soon, hopefully. Sure is taking its time. 97, 98, 97, 96. This could be 95. Okay. This could be the oscillation we're looking for. Let's see what happens. I'm hoping to see it creep up to 100, maybe overshoot 100 and then come back down and then drop down into the 90s again and then shoot up. So what we want to see is kind of like a a wavy line on that temperature. Yeah, I would like to use the auto tune on this thing. It just really didn't seem good. And there's plenty of burnt flux on the bottom of that board. Not the bottom of the board, on the bottom of the, well, on the top of the heating elements. God, I can't talk today. There's also quite a large difference in the temperatures. Look at that. That one's hitting 72 and this one's 98 between the top and the bottom. And I'm sure it's this thermocouple. It's brand new as well, this. It's actually an expensive thermocouple. I think it needs to be absolutely perfectly flat on the board to work properly, though. Alright, so the process value is hidden 100. So let's see if my theory's right. Let's see if it jumps over 100. Yeah, see you guys. So how are we looking? I'm paranoid that the probe's going to fall off the board as well. I really am, because all that heat hitting the tape, it's not great. It's just here, Felix. It's directly under where my finger is. On the underside of the board. It's pretty much directly underneath the one that's on top. So how are we looking? We are getting some oscillations now, but they're not wild. But you know what, Felix? Just for argument's sake, though, look, this is the auto tune, right? So let's set that. We'll leave these alone for now. Let's just let that do its thing, and then we'll crank the temperature up and see what happens. Yeah, the one from the top side is this one on the right, Felix. That one. Come on, station. All right, we've got a bit of overshoot there too. All right, so I'm going to set this to 120C. We can see the auto-tune light flashing. Let's see what this does. So we can see that the output is pretty much on solid right now to take the temperature up. So we're going to see a huge overshoot, I reckon. There we go. We're rising, rising. Let's see what the auto tune comes up with. Okay, so we've definitely overshot that. 126, 127. 128. Let's look at the underside of the board. Let's see if the tape's still holding it. Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay, so it's coming down now. It's cooling off a bit. You know, that's the thing. It's quite a slow, delayed process, this. The people wondering why I've not streamed that much in the last few weeks, it's because I've basically been messing with this damn machine. Although if I get it dialed in today, I might take off, I might just for the heck of it take this cell off this PS3 Slim just because. Why not? I do want to test out my new flux, because I've got this stuff. INSAT VOC free flux. And this is supposed to be quite good for this kind of work, so I'm itching to test it out. I've not yet. And I've also got this handy dandy tool for applying the flux, this turkey baster. So yeah, overshot over, but look, the auto-tune has stopped. AT is now not active. Like, what the heck am I supposed to do, right? The AT light is just completely disabled. It should be this light here where my finger is. And it's not lit up. It's not a disposable transfer pipette. It's a turkey. It's a mini turkey baster. It's for tiny turkeys. So I don't know if this auto-tune's still running, but the AT symbol is off, so I don't think it is. Yeah, now the temperature's dropping. And I'm genuinely not convinced about this thermocouple being connected properly on the board. Let's hold it down with my finger and see what happens. Yeah, look at that. If I hold this thermocouple down, put a bit of pressure on top of it, it's starting to read the board's temperature a bit better. It's also slowly starting to cook my hands, so there's that too, but you know. Minor inconveniences. Use a dab of thermal paste. You know, that could work. Yeah, that could work. That might be a good idea, actually, Postal. I like that idea. I might try that. Yeah, I do like that idea. That's clever. But I'm pretty sure that the auto-tune isn't active anymore because the light's gone, so... The manual says there's prerequisites for the auto-tune. Yeah, I wonder if I have to set some values. You see, like it's set P down to 28 now, and it's set the integral to 43, and it's set the derivative to 10. And I'm not convinced about those values. Anyway. Copper tape might be better. It's not the tape that's the problem, Peter. The problem is, with this thing, the thermocouple itself isn't making great contact with the board. It's not the best... Well, it's a very accurate thermocouple, but yeah. You know what, though? This thermal paste idea... 1 second, I'm just going to grab my tube of thermal paste. Let's give that a go. So... Probably shouldn't be playing with this while it's doing its auto-tune, but, you know. Tweezers. Or, oh, you'll do, I think. I need to take the tape off. Let me under. Tweezers. I need tweezers. This isn't going well. Can't get it off. Right. Let's see how that works. Yeah, it seems to be doing its auto-tuning again right now. Prior to starting the AT function, and all the parameter settings other than PID and LBA confirm the LCK function has not been engaged. Alright. Let's see. AL1. Don't know. Auto-tune. 1. I mean, do I just set them all to 0? 0. OH. I mean, is this what it means by end all parameters? Set them all to 0? Like, what does that mean, right? You know, I don't know. SC0. LCY. LCK, probably. I think I just activated the alarm, but there's no buzzer connected, so yeah, let's... Okay, that's disabled that. Auto-tune is on. Okay. Let's let that time out again. Come on. You can do it. All right, great. So let's dial this temperature up. Let's put this up to 140 or something like that. 150. Let's go with 150. Set. Now let's slap the auto tune on. All right. Yeah, I just put the set point up another 30 degrees, so let's see what that does. I'm just waiting for the damn menu to time out. There we go. So our process value is shooting up. 140, 141, 142. Right, there we go. And now it's flying over the temperature. The process value is flying over our set value, but we kind of expect that, so let's see. It's that thermal inertia, isn't it, though, you know? I'm starting to think that what I might want to do is let it cool down and then give it a large jump in temperature. Yeah, I know the overshoot's normal. It's getting how much it's overshot by, and then it's calculating what the proportional integral and derivative should be based on, you know, how much it overshoots and how quickly and so on, right? But yeah, I'm thinking we let this cool down and we allow that auto tune function to work from a much lower temperature. So let's kill it. There we go. And let it cool down. Look at the difference though, right? Bottom side of the board, 150C. Top side of the board, 114. I need to cool its jets. I need to cool its jets. And the question is, how do I cool it down quickly? I guess I can move the board off. I can do that. I could get a fan on it as well. Right. Time for some jank. Can't move this board easily though, because all the thermocouples are taped into place. What do? What do? Ah, come on. There's a little blob of solder on top of that cell processor. Yeah, this is this is a station. It's not a bad little station, this. Quite like it. I'm actually thinking of modifying it, having a new top plate manufactured, so one that's much closer to the edges, and then having 4 elements instead this way around, like that across. That'll give it the same kind of heating power as something like the Achi IRSC Pro. And all I'd need is to get a small mild steel top manufactured for it. Yeah, taco aboard. Yeah, I get you, Felix. I'm not going to be covering this one. This is, at this point, this is a donor board and a scrap board now. You know, I've already had the RSX off this one, so I don't really care what happens to this one. And you can see the temps are dropping, I think. Double check that turned off. Yeah, it's dropping on the underside too. Maybe if I shift it this way just a little bit, that'll help dissipate some of the heat. Oh man, I want tacos now. God damn it, Felix. Oh, tacos. I've not had tacos in ages. Oh, man. Oh, give me a Crunch Wrap Supreme from Taco Bell. Yes. Put a fan on it. I've nowhere to put a fan. Look at this. I've got like nowhere, like there's literally nowhere to get the fan in. I mean, I can get a fan on it, I guess. Give me a second. I'm going to grab a fan. Let's see what we can do. Yeah. Right. Right, let's get a fan on it. Let's speed this along. Let's do this the old-fashioned way. Oh, crikey, I'm blowing stuff everywhere. Ow. That fan. Stop it. There we go. God damn it. Amazing. I need to repair this stupid fan grill again. Tacos, yeah. I mean, I guess I could say tacos. I'm English. We don't talk properly. My arm's getting tired as well. My arm is so tired. I mean, this seems to be working. Right. That was some turbo cooling, weren't it? Let's let this equalize a bit now, shall we? Oh, I want tacos. Yes. Okay. I'm going to let these temperatures equalize a little bit. I'm not too bothered about starting from this kind of range of temperature, though. That's not too bad. I can tell the board's cooled. Ooh, it's making cracking sounds. Cooled so quickly. It's a waiting game and it's boring. Okay. got a thermal paste on top. You see, this is the kind of thing that you don't see a lot of people who are doing BGA rework showing, right? What you see most BGA rework people do is just pop a chip on or take it off. You don't see the involved processes of actually getting a machine properly calibrated and then developing a profile, getting things to work. So everything's made to look super easy to people that haven't done it before. Now, I've done quite a few of these chips and dialed in a few profiles so far, but I've not recalibrated these bottom heaters before. And on paper, it sounds like it'd be super easy and quick, but it never is. And I feel like a lot of people on YouTube in particular mislead folks. You know, I'm not talking about like viewers, I'm talking about people that make content. Anyway, I'm not really complaining about it. It's just one of those things. I guess people like to keep videos quite short and to the point and show people the cool stuff, but you don't see the nitty gritty and what can actually be involved in, you know, getting this sort of stuff going. Right, anyway, so we've got that set point to 150. We've got the current process values 42 degrees. Top of the board's 34 degrees. And we can see that auto tune is active there as well. I'm going to go into the set menus. I'm going to disable auto tune. Let's disable it. We'll leave these values as default for now. Then we'll re-enable it. And hopefully what that'll do is make sure that we're starting from a zero ground, you know, like a zero reference point, and then it'll figure it out from there. I think actually while I'm in here, let's set all these values to 0 as well. Let's let this machine figure everything out. Let's see what it does. So, yeah, we'll set the proportional to 0. And I think that means it's figured out that all of the other values are going to be 0 as well, and that it's got a 0 start point. So let's let that save and persist into its EEPROM memory. It's annoying. I can't just press a button. I have to wait for it to time out. There we go. Let's wait on it. Still 0. Still 0. There we go. There we go. So we can see we've got the flashing auto tune light again. I'm gonna activate this again in a minute. And probably just about make out my janky solution to raising this heating bed as well. It was quite far down in the machine before, so these heaters were really low down. I've raised them up quite a lot. Right, let's fire it off. Machine mode active. And I will say, this tool in particular, this thing is brilliant. This lets you clean off solder balls just by running it along these pads like that. It's absolutely fantastic. It takes them right off. Okay. The temperature's rising pretty quickly. I'd say that's about 1 degree a second right now. It's actually not bad. Let me just double check that the thermocouples are still actually attached to the bottom of the board. Yeah, they are. Okay. I'm absolutely paranoid about it. Okay, so our process value is up to 80 degrees. 90 degrees. $100, near enough. Yeah, 100 degrees now. Still rising. She'll still be rising, Captain. Okay, 130 degrees. So it's rising pretty quickly. Actually, that's not too bad for the bottom heaters. They're doing an okay job of this. That's really not bad at all. 140 near enough now. Look at that, though. The top of the board's barely 100 degrees. That's a 40C difference between the bottom and top of the board. That's insane. Okay, so we've overshot. We're at 150 odd, so it's figuring it out now. The overshoot makes sense. It's deactivated the heating elements, and it's still rising quite a bit. Which makes sense, because then it will figure out where the proportional value needs to be and so on. So, yeah. Let's see what happens. Now, this is why when you're actually running a BGA Rework profile, obviously the differential in temperatures between these two is extreme. And I guess the idea in a rework profile is you give it a fairly long soak period of like a few minutes to equalize the bottom and the top temperatures. Okay, so now it's firing the bottom heater again. I also think maybe this thermocouple, maybe I should switch back to my old one, because that tends to give a closer reading, but I'm not sure which one's the accurate one. Maybe I need to calibrate this thermocouple for this controller on the right here. So it does look like the auto-tune's getting it closer. Okay, so that seems to have figured it out. The auto-tune cycle is now off. I mean, a couple of degrees overshoot wouldn't bother me too much. Let's drop the temperature. Let's drop the temperature to 100 degrees now on the bottom side of the board, and let's see what happens. Let's see if it's able to keep it relatively accurate within that range. Let's see. Obviously, cooling it down takes longer than heating it up. You know, it is what it is. Again, I don't intend to do an extremely long stream today. I'm probably going to finish up pretty soon. I will actually be doing a few PS3s live very soon, though. The Frankie mod. I've got a few to repair as well from customers that I really need to get done. It's just I've not wanted to take, you know, this machine to those until I'm absolutely confident that it's not going to talk somebody's machine, somebody's PS3. But I might well remove this cell today, just because. But now we play that waiting game. That exciting, exciting waiting game of just being sat here watching a damn BGA machine calibrate. I mean, that bottom heater's been off for quite a while. It'd be interesting to see when it kicks back on. Yeah, and I also don't trust this thermocouple. I wonder if there's any kind of like thermal paste that's like a thermal putty that doesn't wear as an adhesive. You know, just something to secure a thermocouple to the board. That'd be quite nice. Like a little blob of silicone or something. Anyway, our temperature's still coming down, so, you know, just watch the watch. You know, still not there. Yeah, temperature's so slow to come down. I'm itching to try this out as well. Alright, so the heater's firing a bit now. You can see that blinking. Hmm. Okay. So it's out by about 3 degrees. There's a bit of undershoot. We might need to potentially tweak the integral and derivative. But actually, I think this is acceptable. I think the auto-tune's actually got that within range pretty well, looking at that. Let's see how well it holds at 100. Let's see how stable it can keep it. Also, just because it's kind of fun to watch, I'm going to do something a little more interesting. I'm going to boil some isopropyl alcohol because I'm bored. Yep, it's a disappearing. I will say that's doing a pretty good job. I think it wavering by like a degree. I'm not too bothered by that. That's okay. Let's crank it up. Let's see how it behaves if I crank it up to 160 or 170. Let's put it at 160. Yeah, 160. Let's see how that responds. I'm torturing this scrap board here. 108. Okay. Temp rise is pretty good. Now, the other thing with doing rework on PlayStation 3s that I have noticed as well is you definitely want to pre-bake the boards for quite a while. You don't want any moisture in them. Moisture is bad. It's bad for the RSX chips. It's bad for the PCB itself because you're likely to get delamination between the layers or, as Felix mentioned, tacoing, which sounds delicious. So I'm expecting to see this heater cut out any moment now to help prevent any kind of overshoot. Yeah, so it's turning itself off a bit. But I bet this overshoots now. Let's watch. Let's see how much by. There's definitely going to be thermal inertia on that. He says, but then again, that's holding pretty well. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all, actually. The only thing is the difference between both sides of the board. It's quite excessive, isn't it? Oh, that feels so nice. One. So we can see here that with this PID controller on the left set to 160C, we're getting 121C on the top side of the board. Let's confirm that with another thermocouple. So if I grab the other thermocouple I like to use. This one's a bit more banged up because I've used it a lot. It's got burnt flux all over it. Slide over there. So let's see what this couple's saying. What do we got? What do we got? No, that's not even touching the board. Okay. Still not touching the... God damn it. Right, where's that thermal paste? Where's my thermal paste, folks? Where did I put it? Now, if Micro Mage was around, he'd probably say, look to your left, so... I'm looking to my left. Nope. Is it in my pockets? Nope, but there is a tape measure in there. I don't know where I put my thermal paste. Wouldn't know where I'd attach my head. I don't know where anything is. Who am I? Where am I? So that's a huge difference between both sides of the board. Absolutely astronomically huge. I would expect it to be within, you know, 10 degrees of each other, not nearly 60 degrees. So there might be a problem with how my couples are mounted. Or there might be a problem with the calibration of this. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Let me grab thermal paste though. I know there's some more. We don't care about making a mess on this board anyways. Oh yeah, that's made a huge difference. Yeah, what are we getting? 122, 160. So that's still a difference of, well, 40 degrees. Here's my dilemma. What's accurate? The one on top? The one on bottom? Both? Neither? And this is why I end up sort of just looking at the top temperature and cranking up the temperature until the, you know, top of the board is the temperature I want it at. Like if I set this at like 190, say, what are we going to get? We'd expect, if it's a 40-degree differential, we'd expect 190 on the bottom of the board to be producing, what, 150 on top? Let's see if it does. Oh, I dropped my turkey baster. Yeah, so we're expecting the process value on this right-hand reading, which is the top of the board, to hit 150. If my general guess is right, I'm not sure it will be. Is that still rising? Should be. Barely. And herein lies my problem. I pretty much have to guesswork it. No, that's about where I guessed it would be, isn't it? Yeah, 140. So a 50-degree difference between the top and bottom of the board. Doesn't make sense to me. Let's crank it. So 220 there should be 170, I think. Let's find out. What I'm tempted to do as well, but I'm probably going to end this stream soon because, you know, there's only so much people can watch paint dry, right? But what I'm thinking of doing is cooling down this machine, sticking another of my scrap boards on and like ramping it up from bottom all the way up to see how well it does. We're almost, yeah, we're getting toward where I thought it would get. That's interesting that it's such a huge temperature differential. Huge! So, yeah, the bottom heat is set to 220. It's just the thermocouple's reading 220 or there or thereabouts. The top one is reading 160. That's a crazy difference. And now it's swinging wildly. Look at that. Now the bottom heat is overshooting. 225. And for there to be a 60-degree difference between the top and bottom, it's just insane. I don't think that can just be a moisture in the board problem either. I'm not sure what the problem actually is. I will figure it out. Let's press this couple down a bit. Let's see what that does. Oh. Absolutely nothing. And let's say we crank this up to 230. What does that give us? My thought process is that having the bottom temperature at 230 would raise this to about 170. And it is getting that way. $167. Yeah, okay, 168. That's with a bit of overshoot. Okay. I'm actually fairly happy with that. Yeah. Let's kill it. I think I've calibrated this good enough. I think it'll do. The temperature differential between the top and the bottom of the board, it might be the way I've taped that bottom thermocouple on. I'm not really sure. Let's switch thermocouples. I want to see if this is in broad agreement. That's 167. What's this one? They roughly agree, I think, looking at that. One reads a bit higher, one a bit lower. Yeah. Okay. I think that'll do for the bottom calibration now, anyway. I will be doing a chip lift at some point. I don't think I'm going to do it right now. I'm just going to call it quits for now. I'm actually pretty hungry too. Let's talk of tacos. Anyway, I'm going to get going. You can watch some more interesting streams. Go check out Computer Booter's stream if you haven't already. He's doing a claim sale today. So if you're interested in a claim sale, go check out his stream when he comes online, and maybe you could score yourself a deal on some cool retro. So give that a look. Anyway, yeah, time for me to go. Everything's all sorted, so yeah, take care all anyway. And I don't think anybody learned anything from this stream, but that's fine. Well, I think I learned something. Anyway, take care all, and as always, bye for now.